see. Sorry, guys. I got way too busy trying to make funny little memes here. Oh, what do we got here? Would you look at this, guys? We got the Motor City Muscle Detroit. Oh, would you look at that, guys? Yo. I'm such a dork, man. You see this? You guys see this, yo? Talk about a great picture of J-Mo I was able to toss in there. You seeing this? Are you guys seeing the T-Birds that I made, dude? You guys catch this? You guys catch this? So we got TeSlaa, Goff, J-Mo, and St. Brown, Motor City Muscle, dude, with the grease T-Birds jacket on, guys. Let's go. Oh, how you doing, fellas? How you doing? I, of course, am James of the Hat and Beard Show. And this is, well, it's the Hat and Beard Show, and it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over here at YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Let's go, you guys. We are live. We are rocking. We are live? We are live. Okay, we are live. We are rocking and rolling. Just had some tech issues, making sure everything is plumb, level, and square. And square. The pitch must be und square und grass field. World Cup grass fields have NFL players asking why they still play on turf. Yeah. 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 That's it. You know what? That's a good question. That's a pretty standard. It's pretty standard question right there. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty standard operating procedure. We'll discuss that for our NFL nightly news, and of course, you guys, if you're paying attention to the 313. You guys know that the big news is Frank the Tank. Once it touches your lips, it's just so good. He opened up about retirement and his attempt at a comeback. Got some inside information straight from the Frank's mouth. So we now know all of the reality of what was and what was never going to be, you guys. It's good to read, though. We got some information, though. We'll then slide over to A to Z Sports, see what the Slippers got for us, talking about Raw. Hey, Raw Biz. I know you're kind of a morning show guy, dude. I do appreciate you commenting, though, on last night's video. You morning show guys are kicking around on the live streams or on the VODs. That's so awesome. I appreciate it. Feel free to comment. Seriously, comment on it, and we'll try to engage with you guys. But Raw, I thought of you when I seen this article. The Lions are giving Giovanni Manu a chance to show what he can do. Something totally at a totally different position. What they should have said is the Lions are giving Giovanni Manu a chance to show that there's something he can do at a position that is brand new. Oh, man, it's Friday night, guys. We are flying on the Ryman. And then we're going to finish off. This is what started me off. We're just going to watch a little 11-minute video here on GMFB. You guys know I like Good Morning Football. Our boy, the T-Bird. That's why I made the meme, dude. The T-Bird got me thinking he joined Good Morning Football. And I decided to make this little funny little memery do here. You know, we'll see what Isaac TeSlaa, the T-Bird himself, has to say about his second year in the league. I haven't even watched it yet, guys. So, you know, we'll see what that has for us, right? So if you haven't already, could you kindly do me the thing? Press all the buttons, boop the like button, hit the share button, copy this link down on your clipboard, because we are still transitioning into the nighttime show and the algorithm doesn't know what to do with us. So if you can share this around, give us a little bit of a boost. And the Clanker competition, on top of it being Friday night, there's not going to be a lot of traffic, so that's why we're casually hanging out with you guys tonight here at the Hat and Beard Show. If you click that notification bell, it will let you know when we go live Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. right here at YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Hit the like button, you guys. Thanks for doing all that stuff and things. We're going to go ahead and kick it over to my guy, Jocko, and get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Oh, Oh, yeah. Make sure that we got the camera on where we need the camera to be. Clicking and popping and clopping and popping. JMO is selling the dime bags to the... Dude, doesn't it look like he's... That picture does look like he's selling, doesn't it? What's up, Kane? Will Giovanni Manu be a great or be a Giovanni Manu? Or, hey, man, I think Giovanni Manu has a potential to slide on over to that Dan Skipper role, you guys. I'm uncomfortable now. That's awesome. What's up, Derek? Hey, man. Appreciate you tuning in from the West Coast, dude. What is it, like 4 in the afternoon? You finishing up your day out there, dude? No longer having to have pancakes and hanging out with Hat and Beard while you polish off a cup of coffee early as F in the morning, dude. Oh, you're in Tennessee. Gotcha. Oh, so I see when you made that comment, I didn't know if you were, did you move to Tennessee or did you, are you vacationing, dude? Because I thought you meant like you were vacationing out in Tennessee, dude, not like moving. But if you moved to Tennessee, that's fucking dope. Goff is one with his dad card. Yeah, dude, that 100%, you guys. So, talking about NFL, talking about worldwide prestige. Worldwide. World Cup grass fields have NFL players asking why they still play on turf when the U.S. men's national team takes the pitch. For its first World Cup match, its players' feet will land on newly installed grass at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, typically home of the NFL's Los Angeles Rams and Los Angeles Chargers. That's because FIFA required all 16 stadiums hosting World Cup matches across the U.S., Mexico, and Canada to have playing surfaces that are mostly natural grass, with strict requirements to ensure ideal playing surfaces and the best competition possible. Years of research and millions of dollars were poured into fields for World Cup, which included transforming several American stadiums from synthetic surfaces to natural grass in time for the world's biggest sporting event. Who cares? The ingenuity and commitment have especially caught the eye of many NFL players, the athletes who most often use those fields for one of the world's most violent sports. And they're wondering why their sport won't do the same for them. They've been asking to play on grass for years. Yes, we all have, actually. It's kind of a sucky feeling, Giants offensive lineman Jermaine Eleanor said when he was asked about his reaction to learning that some NFL stadiums would be switching from turf to grass. Most importantly, this is why Eleanor, look, not the best guy, not the best offensive lineman, all right? Like, let's be honest. But the fact that Eleanor plays at MetLife speaks volumes. It's one of the worst fields that is being converted to grass for the World Cup, including the final match or the finals next month. MetLife surfaces has long since been a source of annoyance for NFL players. Well, NFL players might be annoyed by it, but their knees absolutely hate it. He's going on year 10, and he can wholeheartedly say that grass feels better than turf. MetLife getting grass, obviously, it's cool for FIFA and the World Cup. It's one of the biggest stages in the world, but at the same time, the NFL as a whole is one of the most profitable businesses in the world, and so you would think that us as players would have a say in the fields that we get to play on. No. Although I agree with you that you guys should be allowed to play on grass, and they should emphasize playing on grass. My friend, you're an employee. You get no say in how the boss runs his business. The boss is going to run his business however you want to play, he the boss. You know what I'm saying? NFL players universally agree that grass is better surface than to play on compared to synthetic turf. According to NFL Player Union survey, more than 1,700 players, a whopping 92% said they preferred grass. I wonder who the 8% were. Eleanor, who plays arguably the most physical position in the game, says his knees, ankles, and lower back all feel less sore after competing on grass compared to feeling like absolute crap. Absolute crappa. And the crappa. Halt the crappa. After a game he played on turf in New Orleans last season. There's a set of criteria and standards that the NFL and the NFLPA have, quote, jointly agreed upon that are tied to our CBA. The NFL's field director, Nick Papa, said it would not be acceptable for any venue to provide grass surface that doesn't meet that compliance. So grass is not just the box to check, right? It's quality of surface that is important to provide for the athlete. Oh, because we all know here, watching lots of documentary videos, the NFL really cares about the health and well-being of their players, right? FIFA researchers who worked on the field say they spared no expense in creating the surface for the World Cup, even though they'll only be used on a temporary basis. Right, so gonna dump a bunch of money, time, research, energy, and labor into a temporary solution, because even though they're going to do it for some of these stadiums, they're not going to leave it in permanently. They're going to go, nope, all right, well, that's that for that. Get it on in and get it out. Between the 16 stadiums, 10 will feature a cool season grass, which is a mixture of Kentucky bluegrass and perennial ryegrass. That includes indoor stadiums such as SoFi. The remaining 6 will utilize a warm season grass, which consists of a hybrid Bermuda. And I'm just going to go out on a limb here and tell you guys right now, yeah, you don't want to be putting your Bermuda grass in cold seasons. It's not gonna hold up well. I don't know how the West Coast handles it. I'm honestly, I don't know. Like, out on the West Coast there in the desert, would you want more of a cool season with a ryegrass KBG style blend, or would a Bermuda work better out there? I think you'd want to almost invert and go with a more dominant ryegrass than a bluegrass out in the warm weather desert states, because, well, bluegrass handles the cold better. That's why you get a naturally deeper green when it's colder out. But at the same time, the ryegrass, you can still drive. The desert would have more lightning. Lightning is going to drive more nitrogen into the grass, which is going to pull out more green, because if we all know one thing about grass, it's nitrogen drives the bus, and that's what's going to get you a lot of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll? More like borophyll, am I right? The exact mixes emerge from roughly 5 years of FIFA-sponsored research by turfgrass experts at Michigan State University and the University of Tennessee. After teams of people came up with the right blends, the grass was grown at various sod farms across 3 host countries. The sod was planted on plastic to encourage a lateral spread of roots, allowing the grass to be easily harvested and transferred. Once the grass was fully grown, it was cut by specialized equipment and transported to stadiums by refrigerated truck, and then laid down on top of sand and drainage structures to create a new field. I don't want to sound like an ass, but yeah, duh. That's how you fucking grow grass, dumbass. That's how you grow specialized equipment. Define specialized equipment. You mean like a fucking sod cutter? Jeez Louise. Oy vey. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not going to read this whole article. It gets kind of boring towards the bottom end. But I think it's pretty cool that they grew it at MSU. That's pretty dope, right? That's pretty dope. How we doing, Mad Hatter Nation? How we feel about that grass talk on a Friday night? Let's go. Imagine how much crank soccer players would be doing if they were playing on AstroTurf. No shit, dude. We ain't scared of no grass. If that's all they have to overcome, we got this. Hell yeah. What's up, Sam? How you doing, man? Crop dust the stadium with turf builder. Hell yeah. Exactly, Rick. It's the NFL. They don't give a shit about players. What's up, Brent Supreme? American Box says, you give me something amusing to listen to while I fold my laundry. Hell yeah, dude. Brother. That's what we're here for, man. I'm here to help kind of alleviate the boredom of the mundane nature from day-to-day life. You know what I mean? Bluegrass is superior to reggae. That's true, dude. That is true. I have a lot of purple grass, but no bluegrass. Hell yeah. I will not. No, I was wondering if one of you guys was going to catch that chlorophyll, more like borophyll. Soccer does suck, Sam. I agree with you. That's why I grew up calling soccer a bunch of lawn fairies, dude. Guys who played soccer, we just called them lawn fairies, dude. All right, man. I'm going to try and get through this without burping too hard into the microphone. Comments suggest people don't necessarily like that so much, so we'll try and keep that under control. How does one become a grass entrepreneur? Easily the most boring subject I can think of. You would think, dude, but actually, so I'm kind of a turf head, dude. If you start to get into the understandings of grass and stuff, it's actually quite a complex organism, dude. It first of all, it's not naturally occurring, and the way that the way the grass can just shut itself down and go dormant like in mid-season is quite impressive. It's a very resilient plant. And then once you start to really separate your different types of grasses and your different types of zones, I mean, dude, I'm over here. I'm the type of guy who like will pull core samples instead of send his soil out for sampling so that he knows what type of nutrient blend to put into his soil. I played soccer, then I hit puberty. Exactly, Brent. Little boys can play soccer all they want, but you know, once you realize that soccer's kind of gay, you know. My Mexican stepfather was a landscaper. Well, I'm going to step out on a limb here and say, that's a fucking shocker, dude. I'm just playing American boxer. I'm just playing, dude. I'm just playing. I like smoking grass. I really like to smoke grass. I grew myself. Hell yeah, Rick. It's a little bit better when it's grown with the sweat of your own brow. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that, fellas. Frank the Tank. Hit that like button, fellas. Share this content around with all of your friends. Frank the Tank, well, he opens up about retirement, what could have been and what never was. Let us see what Frank has to say. In his first public comment since his retirement, it didn't come in some grand ceremony. There was no tearful press conference in front of friends and family. It was much more perfect than that. Much like the man himself, it was a reserved media session. About 6 reporters were huddled in a tight storage room. Outside the room, blasts rang out in the air as Ragnow's 4th annual Skeet Shoot Showdown was taking place outside. The event supported his Rags Remembers Foundation, which provides support for children who have suffered the loss of a parent by reconnecting the youth to nature, which I think is a pretty cool thing. And he made it all the way to Walter Payton Man of the Year award finalist, right? With his Rags Remembers Foundation. While Ragnow probably didn't want to make the event about himself or his retirement, it was, in a sense, a perfect environment to finally talk about it. Quote, "To shoot it to you straight, I was just trying to will myself to play," Ragnow said. I was, and my body was telling me otherwise. I was just like in paralysis, if you will. I did not plan on retiring in the middle of summer. Believe it or not. It was like I was trying to get, quote, to do it for the guys, for the fans. It's who you are. But it's just like I was uncomfortable. And it's one of those things where you have a couple of kids, and I don't want a sob story. I'm okay. I'm going to be completely fine. But it's one of those things. I don't know. Is the juice worth the squeeze type thing? Good thing we got Juice Scruggs on the team now. Several times throughout his 15 minutes spent with the media, Ragnow mentioned an overwhelming sense of guilt. Guilt for letting down the fans. Guilt for letting down his teammates. He tried to stay away from even watching the games. But eventually the lure of football came back, and he started watching again. The guilt only grew from there. Yeah, well, I can imagine watching Graham Glasgow do a piss-poor interpretation of what you have been doing for quite a long time in Detroit at a high level. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a guilty sensation. I tried to avoid the games, tried to distract myself from it, and I started watching the games, and I felt guilt. Like Jared getting hit. That's my guy. Those are my guys. And they're struggling, Ragnow said. So that's when he started thinking about a return. He started working out, talked to some people inside the Lions organization, and found out he loves the process of preparing his body. Just days before he returned to the Lions for his onboarding physical, he suffered an injury. The Lions called it a grade 3 hamstring tear. But Ragnow had never dealt with soft tissue injuries, and he had no idea it was that serious. Quote, "It was sore, don't get me wrong, but it was just different. And I guess I didn't realize the extent of it, obviously." Overall, Ragnow regrets not listening to his body and called it a, quote, bonehead move to try and come back. But in the end, everything worked out just fine. Quote, "Everything happens for a reason, and I am here. I am where I am now I'm in a great place. The team's in a good place. And I'm excited for next season, Ragnow said. So I guess it all worked out, whether it's the right way or whatever. But we found a way, and everything's okay. Still, he admits he feels that the Lions fans who had to deal with the whole ordeal, quote, "You just dream of the perfect retirement, and I definitely think I taught the world on how to do that, right? And I felt a lot of guilt with that. I'm not saying I'm worried about what people think of me, but I care about what the fans think, because I care about those people. It's been an incredible amount of gratitude." Oop, sorry, my bad. While some Lions fans have posted the frustrations online with Ragnow's summer retirement and subsequent failed return, the former Lions center says he's been met with nothing but love from fans, even when he arrived in Michigan for his charity event. The first time he's been back in Detroit since the failed physical, fans were stopping him at the airport. I would. I'd be like, "What up, no? Ah, Frank Ragnow!" Quote, they say, "Hey, I want to thank you for laying it on the line for me," Ragnow said. And, quote, "You can't really even describe what that does. It's just to be seen and appreciated like that is so cool." Especially an offensive lineman, you guys. Offensive linemen, I mean, unless you're a hardcore football fan, you're not going to realize the magnitude of what these guys do, right? You're not going to, hell, halftime, you're not even going to know who they are, what they even look like. They're just these giant dudes out there, right? Frank Ragnow kind of transcends just being an offensive lineman, right? I mean, hell, he's retired now. People are stopping in the airport like, "Frank, dude. Frank, appreciate you, man." I would have. I'd have been like, "Frank, bro. Appreciate all you did, dude." You know what I'm saying? As for what's next, it's certainly not football. Ragnow definitively closed that door on a return to the NFL. When asked if his retirement was for good now, he replied, "Yeah, I would say so," with a smile. Instead, he plans to continue focusing on community service, something he feels he owes, given the status and celebrity he still has. Selfishly, it just gives me something to work on. And just to be able to, I still feel like I have a platform and a responsibility, if you will, to make an impact. And I'd like to foresee that, Ragnow said. As for the Lions, he says he's excited for the upcoming season and hopes the games will be a little easier to watch from a personal standpoint. He may even show up to a game one day, although that's tough with the overlap with hunting season. Ideally, I'd love to go back and support, and I'll always be watching. Hell yeah, that's what's up, Frank Ragnow. Big Frank the Tank, dude. One of my favorites, dude. His, considering he was one of the few carryovers from the Quintricia era. He's a good one. One of the best we've ever had. You know what I'm saying? How did this render out yet? Did we get this pulled up for you yet? Oh, not quite. Close enough, but there you go. Jack, kind of close. It's kind of close to the Fallout Vault Boy thing. Not quite what we were shooting for. I could tweak it a little bit, but I'm not going to get into the grind too much. I do like this one, though. I'm not going to lie, dude. ChatGPT did a pretty good job with this being like, this is eerily close to like what seems to like almost feels like a real picture. Jared Goff, maybe a little out of character for Jared Goff, but these other three, these are like spot on, especially the JMO and the St. Brown, dude. Those are crushed it with that. I might have to tweet that picture out later, dude. That's not a bad little AI render there, dude. All right, so what does A to Z have for us, guys? How we doing, Mad Hatter Nation? Come over here to the chat. How you doing, chat? Just try to squeeze Juice Scruggs. Exactly. What's up, David? How you doing, man? Frank's living the dream now. Fish on money in the bank. Exactly, dude. Exactly. All the sounds after hike is the grown ass men crashing. Exactly, dude. That cracking of helmets and shoulder pads. That's O-line. That's just mass crashing into one another. South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia leaving tomorrow. Oh, gotcha. You're out there traveling, dude. Gotcha, for sure, man. I didn't know. I was like, damn, dude, did you up and straight move to Tennessee? Right on, dude. So you'll be back to Commie Land tomorrow, huh? Or at least heading back. Gotcha, dude. Gotcha. Well, I hope it's a nice little vacation for you, dude. You know, hopefully, Derek, you got to enjoy a little time away, a little R&R, a little vacay, or made the best of whatever situation you're in. You know what I'm saying? So we got ourselves a little story here about Giovanni Manu, seeing what he can do at something new. Oh, we are so smooth today, fellas. All right. And hit that oil can. The oil can, the oil can, the oil can. He's the man. Detroit Lions are experimenting with Giovanni Manu. Yep. I hear we're going to try him out at safety. The former trade-up pick is now getting a look at a completely different positioning, like safety, opening a potential path on sticking to the roster as competition tightens. Like at safety. I think Giovanni Manu should be the backup safety. Let's go, dude. How terrifying would that be? The Lions don't make a whole lot of mistakes when it comes to the NFL draft. Pause. I was told Brad Holmes doesn't know what he's doing. I have been told by a lot of people that Brad Holmes is not a good GM. That Brad Holmes drafts bad players, that he routinely drafts injured players, that he never... Apparently Brad Holmes hasn't drafted, Penny Sewell, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson. These people just fell out of the fucking sky, right? Brad Holmes, right? They've drafted more all-pro players since 2021 than anyone, and they've managed to keep the large majority of their draft picks during this time on the roster and in important roles. Strange, because I have been told by many people that Brad Holmes is an idiot. Then there's Giovanni Manu. Lions traded up to get him in the 2024 NFL Draft. Revisionist history might tell you that the Lions vastly overdrafted him, but at the time, the hype was real. Almost every single team had him for a visit. There was some belief that the Lions had not moved up. They weren't getting him. After 2 seasons, it still feels like he's 2 seasons away from being to the point where the Lions might be able to get something out of him. And it also feels like the summer is his last chance. But will he do it at tackle? No. But safety. If he was to play the safety position. Oh, never mind. The Lions have been trying Giovanni Manu at guard this summer. No, safety. You got to get him out there at the safety position. I'm telling you, I got a feeling that if you just put Giovanni Manu out there in the defensive backfield, good things will happen. Bad things will probably happen too. But good things could happen. Quote, that's some of what it is. Let's experiment a little bit. We've had a couple of injuries or the bugs that maybe a guy that normally would play guard, we don't have. So let's put him in there. It's actually kind of worked out good and just see what he looks like at guard, Campbell said. So he's still getting tackle reps. We're trying to give him the best opportunity to showcase what he can do. Who knows? Maybe he is better at guard. We still think tackle, but if he can prove something, that's good. We'll see. He's been here. He's been working, and we won't know until camp. Before he was drafted, Manu told the media that the Lions told him they were thinking of him at guard. So it tracks with their original thought process for him. If he nails it down, he would make for one mountain of a guard. The problem Manu runs into is the competition at guard is really stiff right now. Mormon Oaks, Christian Mahogany, Juice Scruggs, Miles Frazier, Ben Barch, and Michael Neese are all fighting for spots. They have the benefit of the fact that they've played guard before. All of them have done it at the NFL as well. Maybe not so well, but as well. We'll see what happens in camp, but maybe this is Manu's chance to land a roster spot in the Big 2-6. Maybe. I don't know, though, man. If Manu... Now, I don't think he played completely dog water against Cincinnati. He didn't play great, but, it wasn't dog water. This is where Giovanni Manu could try and flex that Swiss Army knife style, that Miles Frazier avenue, that Juice Scruggs avenue I've been trying to tell you guys about. The more versatility you can bring to the team, the better options and availability you have, the greater chance you have of making the roster under the tutelage of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, because we look for multi-dimensional players. So if Manu can bring a guard-type play, if Manu can bring a safety-type play, Oh, man. What's up, Raw? Yo, I start talking about Giovanni Manu. Look who comes. The Raw Biz signal went up. He's like, my ears are tingling. I can hear he's talking about Giovanni Manu. Oh, man. We're trying to find a place for him because he's not fitting in anywhere else. Yeah, Kane, that's kind of how I took that too, bro. Why not Manu at fullback? Well, because Ahmed Hassaneen's going to be playing fullback. I've been told that Brad Holmes needs to be fired and that Bob Quinn is available. Yeah, no shit, dude. Well, in their defense, technically, he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. That's true. That's true. He hasn't won a Super Bowl in his first 6 years. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. I'll take Brad in any era. He knows talent. That's what I'm saying, dude. Brad Holmes knows how to find the talent. Brad Holmes can't do anything about guys blowing up their Achilles, though. Brad Holmes can't do anything about guys destroying their knees. Brad Holmes can't do anything to stop Aiden Hutchinson's leg from being wrapped like a spaghetti noodle around a Lee McNeil's leg. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing Brad Holmes can do about that. All he can do is try and bring in the talent, which statistically he's done better than anybody else in the draft process since 2021. That's all I'm saying, dude. That's all I'm saying. I'm just a big Brad Holmes stan. Speaking of prospects that he's drafted, guys, good morning, football. How you doing this morning, football? Good morning, football. How you doing? Oh, morning, football. How you doing, football? Good to see you, football. Ooh, football. Good morning, football. Oh, football. Sat down with the T-Bird, Isaac TeSlaa. Ooh, go Grease Lightning. He's tearing up the quarter mile. Go Grease Lightning. Tesla's going for 600 plus yards and 10 touchdowns this season. There, I'm planting my flag. I think TeSlaa can do it, you guys. Do you see a world where Isaac TeSlaa? Now, I know that I kind of put a low floor on him this year of 500 yards with a ceiling of 750. I got this. I keep seeing the number 600 flashing in my head and double-digit touchdowns. I really think TeSlaa is going to take advantage of deployment in the red zone because obviously Laporta is going to be your red zone target because he's your tight end. We also then introduced Tyler Conklin, a very viable tight end receiving option inside the red zone. TeSlaa brings big body with, now I was told by Wesley Snipes that white men can't jump. Well, example A, Isaac TeSlaa. That boy can jump. That's why I call him the T-Bird, because he's about to take flight. That's a good one. I need to remember that. 600 yards, double-digit touchdowns, because what's going to end up happening, Amon-Ra is also a very viable red zone target, considering he's not this big body guy that you would like to think of as a red zone target. So you got all this attention being drawn elsewhere, right? Laporta, Conklin, hell, Gibbs. I think T-Bird is going to be a sneaky, sneaky red zone guy. Hell, he had 6 touchdowns on like 16 catches last year. 32 catches, 12 touchdowns. Let's go, dude. You know what I'm saying? I see beautiful relationship between Goff and TeSlaa. So do I, dude. And dude, David, to that point, what is the one thing that we have been able to consistently say about Jared Goff? Oh, camera. Come on, camera. Focus in. Let's go, camera. Come on. Ayo, camera. And that is that Jared Goff, as he gets more time, more repetition, more chemistry with receivers, regardless of who that receiver is. Look at Khalif Raymond. Look at Josh Reynolds. Look at J-Mo over the last couple of years. Look at how it took 6 weeks to a year of St. Brown. The more time Goff has with his receivers, the better he understands them, the better they are. The better he can put it where those guys are going to want the ball. Jared Goff is a very talented quarterback, and it's going to be a big year, dude. Forgot about the Egyptian hammer. Dude, I am a big Ahmed Hassaneen fan, and I don't want to take away from him as a defensive end, but there is some serious competition at that defensive end room. Guys, there is some seriously good competition. The Lions went out. We talked about it yesterday. Go back and watch. What did we do at the defensive end room? We got bigger and longer. Hassaneen transformed his body. And I'm not, again, not taking away from him as a defensive end, but brother, you could go and be the hammer in the backfield. Go and be the evolve the fullback position. My guy, let's go. 64 catches, 24 touchdowns incoming. Holy shit, let's go. He might get more than 10. You know, Dave, that's a total possibility, dude. I think double digits is a pretty solid floor for him. This is obviously barring any injury. TeSlaa had a quiet 6 tutties last year. Exactly, dude. Very quiet, dude. Very, very quiet. The killer from Cairo, the Egyptian Sactician. Exactly, dude. The Motor City Mummy. My wife wishes I could get bigger and longer. You know, Mr. Figs, me too, bro. Me too. That whole time we was reading the articles yesterday, I was just like, we got bigger and longer. I was like, if I just had a nickel for every time I was told that. TeSlaa's going to get deep ball. Jamo going to get the screens, and Amon-Ra and Laporte are going to catch them short. Dude, you look at the way we're going to just absolutely open up the field. Behind this stalwart of an offensive line that we're going to roll out this year, you guys don't understand. Jared Goff is going to have effectively the same amount of time that legislators have to pass bills back there. You might as well just call him Jared Goff. He's a bill up on Capitol Hill. I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. He's going to be standing back there, dude. He's going to dissect the defense, dude. It's going to be beautiful, you guys. Mike Kafka coordinating that passing game, dude. Lil Spud drawing up play. I'm telling you guys right now. I want a DNA test done on Lil Spud. Because you're going to find Lil Spud is a bastard child of Mike Martz. And we're going to have the greatest show on turf. Ahmed is athletic enough to play linebacker. Hell yeah, he came back even more ripped. Yeah, Brent, did you see that article about how he cut his body weight and rehabbed his hamstrings so his lower backs? He basically hooked up with Hutch's trainer and just totally transformed his body. Did a bunch of blood tests, eliminated a bunch of shit out of his diet that was causing fucking inflammation and stuff, dude. It's pretty wild, dude. It's pretty wild. All right, speaking of wild, let's see what TeSlaa has to say on Good Morning Football.
Our next guest has a name built for the headlines and a game to back it up. He has got size, he's got speed, he's bringing energy to the Motor City. Please welcome Detroit Lions wide receiver Isaac TeSlaa.
Hey. Thank you. Let's go, baby.
Yo, look at TeSlaa. Based. You seeing this? Based. Isaac TeSlaa based.
You have been a hot topic. Yeah, hot topic during OTAs with one highlight catch after another, and you've got this acrobatic style of grabbing the football out of the air. Where did you learn that from?
Man, I think it really comes down to growing up.
Where did you learn to catch the ball athletically like that? You do realize that I am a professional football player, right? They're like, yeah. And he goes, you do realize that my job is wide receiver, right? Yeah. So where did you learn to do that? I don't fucking know, man. Over the decade and a half of fucking Pop Warner and shit. I don't know, man. You tell me. Somewhere I learned to catch the ball. I don't fucking know. Someone threw something at me once and I put my hands up and I caught it. I don't fucking know. Dumb question.
Me and my dad would do this routine, and growing up I was a quarterback, so I'd always be throwing the ball. But once I transitioned to receiver, me and my dad, every single day we had a 30-minute to an hour routine.
Look at that ups right there, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that full extension at the absolute peak of the jump, dude. Woo, boy got ups.
Catching different balls, we had just straight on, off to the side. We do that for 30 minutes, and at the end, we would just practice a bunch of one-handers right here.
Oh, that was
the top,
sick.
everything like that. And I think that really just contributed, all those repetitions of me just getting catches off balance and stuff like that.
That was sick.
Just led to me being able to do it in big moments like that.
Yo, don't you guys think that should have been the catch of the year right there?
Yeah,
Watch
man,
this. That right there is borderline OBJ right there. Right? Yeah, OBJ had what? A thumb and 3 fingers? Maybe more like a thumb and 2 fingers? But it's close.
A segment about coaching our kids.
Look at that. That's all tip. That's all fingertips.
Notes. Now, something that you could also learn is from 2 teammates. You are in the same wide receiver room as Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. First, describe.
Isn't that the dude who's playing another dude that's pretending to be another dude? Isn't that the dude who was dating a fake online girlfriend? Isn't that the guy who was dating some, who did like the OG catfish right there?
What makes them different
What's his
personality
name? Manti Te'o.
wise, and what have you learned from them so far?
Man, it's such a blessing to be able to play with two guys like that. Obviously, growing up, I was watching those guys, and I always had I was so amazed by the way that Saint played the ball or played football, and just be able to be in his shadow now and be able to learn from him. And obviously,
I was always amazed at the way that St. Brown played with his balls.
JMO, it's just an incredible room to be a part of. Obviously, they're very talented football players, but they're great guys as well. And just to be able to have those guys in a room is just such a blessing. And just the way they work is, something that I'm trying to model my game after as well.
Can we talk about last season, man? You had 16 receptions, 6 of those were touchdowns. You grew up a Lions fan. Is there any part where you say, man, I'm doing it for a team I love, man? How are you feeling being a Lion? Now you're considered a true weapon for the outfit. Man, how does it feel playing for your hometown team?
Yeah, I mean, initially when I got there last year, it was kind of a doozy just being around all these guys that I knew, but they didn't know me because I grew up watching them and just trying to find my role on the team. And, I remember coming in as a rookie, just being so nervous, trying to figure out the playbook while also trying to figure out what it means to be a part of this team. And just as we went throughout the season, just finding my role and earning the respect of the coaches and my teammates, I just want to continue to do that. Obviously, doing what I can in the pass game and the run game.
God
just
damn,
continue to
yo!
find my role.
Hang on. Look at that. Let's rewind that just a cunt here.
Just as we went throughout the season, just finding my
Ignore
role
what
and
the hell
earning
he's
respect
saying.
of the
I want to
coaches
watch
and my
this.
teammates.
Watch this route. Watch how smooth he runs this route. And I know the DB has to react, but he's just
continue to
right
do that.
gone. See how he's already turned and coming across before the DB. The DB's already half a step behind because he was a half second late in turning his hips and pivoting.
Obviously,
Now, if the ball had came out literally any time now, so you see TK85 coming across, you're bringing the linebacker or DB. Total clear out. TeSlaa's already won. Already won. Look at this. Even though linebackers are here, he's probably coming down on someone in the flat. There you can see he's reacting, and you've already won. Look at, by the time TeSlaa turns his head, they've already won. They've won everything throughout all of here. It's cleaned out. It's cleared. Look at
in the run game and just continue to
now, if Goff could have just laid it in, TeSlaa's gone. Just
find my role and help this team win in any way that I can.
God, that's a sick catch right here.
You're living a movie,
Kaboom!
man. It's really cool, and we're watching it, and we're liking it. And part of that movie is that if you grow up a Lions fan, you used to idolize Calvin Johnson, who didn't, right? We all did, and you do it even more so. Megatron, okay? All-time nickname. The fans have dubbed you Vanillatron. Now, that cracks us up, and that is a hilarious nickname. What do you think of Vanillatron?
That's great. I've heard some different nicknames. That one's probably my favorite just because, like you said, I did grow up idolizing Megatron. So just to even have some similarity, even if it's just like a nickname that people are throwing out there, I'll take that and I'll run with it for sure.
Of current nicknames right now in the NFL, I'm talking active nicknames out on the field. That's got to be up there. We'll do a rankings in the next segment, but that has to be up there for sure. You've obviously showed that you can flat out make plays. The stat that Willie gave a second ago, 16 receptions, and then you get 6 touchdowns out of those 16 receptions.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. Obviously, the most important thing with a quarterback when you're a wide receiver is earning that quarterback's trust. What is that relationship like with Jared Goff, and do you believe that that's going to turn into more targets?
Yeah, absolutely. Last year, before we started the season, obviously it was always my goal to just get as many repetitions with him as I can, and even during the season after practice, getting with him with a couple other receivers, because everything just comes down to timing and trust. So if I can be available and I can be where I'm supposed to be at when he thinks I'm going to be there, that's the biggest thing to JG is just timing. So just to continue to, work to get everything as precise as I can.
He is good at finding holes in the defense, isn't he?
What I'm going to do, because obviously 16 receptions is great, 6 touchdowns is awesome, but I have bigger goals than that in this upcoming season. So I'm really looking forward to,
Damn, dude.
getting out there on the field this season.
Movie watching, man. You're an incredibly watchable player, and you're also a very good interview. To that point, we love Dan Campbell. He's been through it all since he got there, from the lows to the highs, and now you guys try to figure out how to bounce.
Bro, when you really go back and watch his highlights, dude, he is really good, man.
Back and get back to those highs. So we love him, everything about him, but also his rhetoric. What is the Dan Campbell message?
Jack,
right
you're
now
right, dude. Jack says reporters this year have replaced "How do you feel?" with "What's it like?" to start nearly all of their questions. It's lazy and lame. Yes, it is. You know what, dude? You are 100%. It's just lazy. But what do you expect, bro? If there's one thing that we have noticed time after time after time, reporters are just lazy. Think of all the times, dude, when we get to a typo in an article and I lose my shit and just stop reading the article. Professionals barely doing the bare minimum. Barely doing the bare minimum. I mean, not for nothing. I am online. I'm a YouTuber. I'm allowed to wear a t-shirt and be in a little square. Put a fucking tie on, Kyle Brandt. My God. My God, man. Pretend to be a professional. Pretend for one day. Judas Priest, Barbara. It's one of them flaming bags again. Well, don't put it out with your boots, Ted.
Or 2026.
It's poop again.
What's he saying, you guys, man? When are we going to go kick some ass this fall? Like, what does he say?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Sounded like a lot like our team meeting yesterday. But, I mean, obviously, last year was not our standard.
Hell yeah, he should be our jump ball
guy. Everyone
guy.
in the room knows that. Everyone who's been a fan of the Lions for the past couple of years know that our standard is better than what we put on film last year. And, you can't nail it down to one thing. There's a bunch of little things that contribute to where, we didn't live up to our own expectations. So we're just trying to go back to what we were years prior and, fix the little things, the little kinks, and just to be, as fluid as we can coming into this season.
One thing I've always loved about Dan Campbell is not only is he a great coach, but
Hey,
he's a former player.
Manti
He made
Teo.
headlines
Look at me. I'm a cute girl online. Why don't you send me some money, buddy?
recently.
Hey there, buddy. I can pretend to be your online girlfriend. You want to send me some money?
By
Oopsie.
saying he's over the pajama party. So when I think about the offseason, you just talked about it didn't reach your expectations last year. How have practices been so far in the OTAs? Where are you guys at minicamp right now?
Got you.
Yeah, I mean, the practices have been hot. I know people think Michigan is cold all the time, but it gets pretty hot and muggy out there. So just trying to deal with the heat, of course, is always a battle. But yeah,
hey, that's
I know
straight
he calls it
lie.
the pajama party. I think that really just comes down to OTAs is important, but the media this time of year is always looking for headlines, and they can blow things out of proportions and everything like that. So right now we're just trying to focus on us, get all the details. Obviously, with Coach Petzing coming in, we're trying to get together as an offense and really just mesh all together.
Isaac, T-Bird, Vanillatron. It's Lil Spud.
The biggest thing for us right now is just learning this new offense and really just getting ready for the upcoming season.
The weather today's hot and shitty. What are you talking about, man? It's nice out today, bro. Yo, Brent, it was nice out today, man. It was nice and cool. I got the air off, the windows open. I got so much. I mowed the lawn, dude. I trimmed up a bunch of edges and shit, bro. Come on, it was nice out today, dude.
Yeah, but just to have this time on the field with your team.
Could have been hot and muggy like an armpit.
High intensity as it is when it comes to camp. So just to be able to get all those repetitions.
Oh my God, Cody, you're right, dude.
Finish up this last week.
Manti would be so FUCT fucked with AI nowadays, bro. You ain't right. Is Dan on the hot seat if the OC doesn't work out again? Ooh. Sam, that's a good question. I don't think so. Only because I feel that Dan Campbell has been very aggressive in identifying when it's not working out and addressing it almost immediately. See Anthony Lynn, see John Morton. Honestly, with the splitting of the two, bringing in Kafka and Lil Spud, it will be very difficult for the OC position to quote unquote not work out. Now if it all goes tits up, then yeah. If we're talking an 0-16, then yes. You know what I mean? I don't know though, man. And I don't know if there's really any road to it not working out. But that's because I'm super high on the Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Weather in Georgia sucks big time. High temps and high humidity. Damn, dude. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. That sucks, dude. That was a quote from Good Morning Vietnam. Today's weather was nice. Oh, gotcha. For sure. Yeah, for sure. My bad. Damn, dude. You. I ain't gonna lie, dude. Normally I catch references like that. You actually got me on that one, dude. You got me on that one. You caught me slipping on that one a little bit. Petzing knows the play action. Yes, he does, and we got the guys to crush it on the play action, not only on the offensive line and the running backs, but we all know JG16 so elite when it comes to play action passes.
You have such a unique name, and I remember when you first started making plays, everyone was
oh, what's
saying
up, Trippy?
Isaac TeSlaa, because
yo,
Tesla
good to see you, Trippy. I appreciate you stopping by, man. I bet you was busy with the storms, dude. I bet you were a busy motherfucker today with them storms yesterday, dude. I appreciate you dropping by on a Friday, my guy, dude. That's what's up, brother.
Also, the Ford Automotive Company reached out to you, and it's like, hey, it's elephant in the room. Have you ever heard from anybody from Tesla? Have you ever heard from Elon Musk? Like, your last name looks a lot like one of the biggest companies in the world.
Well, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about that. Like you said, I am a Ford guy.
Hey, guys, real quick. Speaking of Elon Musk, I don't know if any of you guys are like really wild about following the stock market, and obviously markets are closed for the weekend. But SpaceX is public now, and they were up 24% from opening last I checked today. You got to buy full shares, and last I seen it was going for it was fluctuating about 158 to 160 a share, but SpaceX is public now. Guys, this is not financial advice. Okay? But I would encourage you to, if you have maybe a little bit of fuck around money, you might want to buy some shares of SpaceX. No pun intended. That stock's about to go to the moon. Let's go.
So, but no,
if I had the money, I'd buy somehow. Holy shit, Cody! Are you serious? It got up to 166. Yo, you ain't kidding, dude. But sell the farm and buy SpaceX stock. Yeah, this ain't stock advice, but sell everything and buy SpaceX. Breaking in fantasy, will Laporta's breakout with Petzing? Sam, I don't think that we should project McBride numbers onto Laporta simply because there are more weapons in Detroit than there were in Arizona. The quarterback play is better than in Arizona. The distribution isn't going to be so focalized or focused on just McBride. But I think Laporta has a very easily attainable, if everything continues on his rehab the way it's supposed to be, very attainable 700 to 1,000-yard season. Guys, when you look at the offense that we are going to be rolling out there, as long as everything stays healthy, the strength of schedule that we have, the projections of the defenses that we're going to be going up against, guys, I'm not saying this to get you overhype. I genuinely believe it is a very attainable situation that Jared Goff can go for 5,050. It is not that hard, especially when you look at the weapons that we have in-house. If you go 1,600 to Gibbs, 1,400 to St. Brown, there's $3K right there. You can easily divvy up another $2K between Laporta, TeSlaa, Dortch, Gibbs, everybody else involved. You know what I'm saying? Conklin, you know what I'm saying? There are all kinds of ways to divvy up an extra 1,000 yards or an extra 2,000 yards, especially if Laporte is going for 700. TeSlaa is going for 700. There's 14 of your two right there. You got to go 16 or 600 yards between Gibbs and Dortch and Conklin and Pacheco. Totally doable. Totally doable. The big 2-6, multiply 2-6 by 2. Jared Goff's going for 52 touchdowns in the big 2-6. Let's go.
Asked me, is like, do you drive a Tesla? I'm like, no, I don't drive a Tesla.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Number
how much
one defense
marketing they
potentially.
do
I totally agree.
outside
SpaceX,
of,
AI, TeSlaa,
I mean, everyone knows who Elon Musk is,
join
so
the
I don't know how many
colonized space.
commercials they need to put
Actually,
on-
dude,
yeah,
so I
on
didn't want to
TV.
get too much into it, Brent, but that's actually why I encourage people to buy, potentially look into buying SpaceX stock. When you look at the future magnitude of what SpaceX is going to do, this isn't an investment for you to reap benefits on right now. You are standing right now with SpaceX becoming public, with AI becoming public, with various AI corporations, Palantir, that type of stuff. I would encourage you to look in uranium mining companies, okay? I've seen tremendous growth in my stocks over the uranium companies. New tech, new energy. You are standing at a time in history when your forefathers were staring at a horse and buggy and an automobile. And you are standing at that same point going, I can either put my money on the horse or I can put my money on the automobile. If you want to try and potentially set your future generations up for some claim to new money, not wealth, but new money, I would encourage you to get in on the ground level of a future-thinking company with very big plans for growth and development. I know 166.95 right now sounds like a lot. And it is. I'm not trying to downplay that. But what you're looking at right now is buying at 166.95 versus 10 years from now when it's $1,695.95. Do you understand what I'm saying? Knock on wood if you're with me. Let's go, guys. Let's finish up this video and get on out of here.
Everyone knows what a Tesla is, so they never reached out, but I was excited when Ford did. Obviously, to be sponsored by, the company that owns my team is pretty cool. So just to have that opportunity,
Hell yeah,
with them was really cool.
So Isaac, let's talk about your rookie dinner. Quick story about mine. I got in a fist fight. I don't know if you did the same thing. There's always,
hey, Rick, hang on to that thought. I want to get back to it.
And wacky things and pranks happen. Can you tell us about your rookie dinner? There's always a good story. I'm
good point,
sure
Trippy. Yeah, you're right. 3 split. You're right. No, Trippy, you're right. Trippy, I swear to God, are we the same person? You ain't wrong, though. Oh, but back to 500, though. Yeah, but still, 500 versus the 160 that it's at now. You know what I'm saying? Rick, well, I got to pause. We're just going to talk now about it, Rick. It's not that I'm not Smith & Wesson. I own a couple Smith & Wessons. You just have to remember that there is one American firearm manufacturer who has historically bent the knee. When Uncle Sam comes and says, information, please, Smith & Wesson tends to kowtow to the government. What I would encourage you to do is, oh, you're right, Trippy. It's that 88 gang. I forgot. We're the same age, dude. That totally makes sense, bro. Rick, look at Palmetto State. You're going to see the jokes online, poverty state, poor Meadow State, blah, blah, blah. Bro, look at PSA, okay? My EDC is a custom-made saber dagger that I made, all right? And I didn't go with the saber slide. I bought the saber frame and put a regular dagger slide on it. Bro, very comfortable. And you're going to save a couple bucks. You're going to save a couple bucks. On top of that, okay, one of the main reasons why I went with the PSA, my dagger runs Glock magazines. In the event of a collapse of civilization, I have more available parts outside in the world that are adaptable to my piece of equipment than, say, an S&W. Percentages-wise, we're getting down to the minor amounts, but there is more compartmental or customization and modularization, personally, in my opinion, with the dagger at a price point that I'm more that is more palatable for me than going with the S&W. But, you know, that's to each their own. I took a gamble. I'll be honest. I took a gamble with my dagger. I didn't know if I was going to like it. I did go with a little bit with the premium saber frame, right? But I like it a lot. I'm very pleased with it. Shoots great, dude. And I got the threaded barrel for the comp, you know. But it's fantastic. I strongly recommend it. If I didn't have to piss so bad and we weren't at the end of the show, I'd fucking run downstairs and grab it and show you. But, you know, that is what it is. So they just end up chit-chatting in the back end of this little video here. How we doing, Mad Hatter Nation? I'll shop before I buy. 100%, dude. Yeah, dude, 100%. Just shop. Sam's a Glock owner. Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. It means you have 3 times the amount of shares. It's the same money. Cody, nicely done. Touche, my friend. PSA is a penal substitution atonement. Yes, dude, exactly. Walmart Jones and a 3D printer, 100%, dude. My uncle worked for S&W at Tennessee, and they were doing stuff for the government. Yep, Sam. Again, it's not that I have anything personally. I own the one of the reachables up here is a Smith & Wesson. B-Rad's carrying a Smith & Wesson. Okay, I have Smith & Wessons. I'm not against Smith & Wesson. It's just, you know, when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, they tend to kind of bend the knee to Uncle Sam a little bit more. And PSA, their whole goal is they want as many Americans armed at a price point that's palatable with a functional firearm, and they're coming out with all new shit all the time, guys. I just shop around. I just encourage people, okay? Just take a look at what PSA's got. You might, and not for nothing, you might not want to buy a PSA, but you might find something on their website. It's a good website to be a friend of. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be it for today, fellas. And the week. We made, we'll be back in the week. Who is that? Who is it? Ryan Moody. Ryan Moody, the Madden creator. We'll be back in the week with another upload. We won't, though. It's the end of the week. We made it. We made it to the end of the week for our first week of the nighttime show, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you who managed to stop by and transition with us over here. We will be doing the best that we can to try and get this camera back in focus. There we go. We're doing the best we can, you know. Obviously, next week will be a little bit differently. Monday, I start the new job. So if I'm a little bit drag-assy Monday night, well, you know why, guys. So hopefully we're going to crush it down there. Scary and exciting, but... you know, as long as I have faith in he who holds the boat, I will be fine. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. I've been James of the Hat and Beard Show. You've been an attentive audience. Until Monday at 7 p.m. Banga banga. Frig off.